Hey everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers Pregame, presented by Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening. Joining me live in the Xfinity Mobile studio, it is Mr. Flyperbole himself, Steve Jaco. What's going on today, Steve?
Oh, Bill, I'm ready for blood. We got a rivalry night over here. Rivalry night, as the
I'll tell you. It feels real again, right? The Flyers have got themselves in a playoff spot. We're going to look at the Metro Division standings in just a little bit. Both of these teams currently by total points in wild card positioning, although when you look at points percentage, it's a little different. It feels like an actual rivalry night here. And listen, it's December 1st. Is that March 1st? No, obviously. But we're pretty late into the season. We're well over a quarter of the way through, and the Flyers have represented themselves pretty well to the point that last postgame, you and I are just asking, at what point do we have to start taking them seriously? I think as playoff contenders, they're as serious as anybody. Now you look at the Eastern Conference, and it's, yeah, pretty much everyone's a playoff contender, but they're right there, and they're not only in the mix, by points percentage, they're third in the Metro. Like, this is a for-real team, and this is their big rivalry, so I am excited for tonight. And we got some lineup news, Steve. It will be Dan Vladar in net for the Flyers, befitting a big rivalry night. It is the number one goalie getting in again, 10-4-1 on the season, 243 goals against, save percentage well over 910. Comes away with that win against the Devils the other night, and now he's right back out there tonight. Now, this is my question about Vladar. I said one of the big tests was that last game on Saturday against the Devils. You know, it was a back-to-back. He's the only guy other than, I think it was Grabenkin or, Zamula, who hadn't played the night before. So, like, okay, you're the fresh guy. That was the test, and he came through pretty big for them. Now we're starting to get into territory of, this is his 16th start of the season. His career high in the NHL was 29 starts last season on 30 appearances. We're starting to get into the territory of, all right, what kind of workload can he handle? Are you feeling the same way I am?
Oh, yeah. This is like the biggest question I've got for him right now, because I think he's proven that he's got the stuff. Like, that was the big question heading into the season. Like, do we have any guys that are capable of being a starting caliber goaltender in the NHL? And Vladar has stepped up to the plate. We just saw his numbers, outstanding numbers. That Devils game that we covered the other day, he was awesome in that game. He really kept them in it when the Devils were pouring some pressure on in that game. And Pittsburgh is a tough matchup. Pittsburgh's had a pretty good start. They've cooled down, but still a very good hockey team. We're going to talk a lot about Sidney Crosby in this preview show, and he's got a ton of goals for an old guy. He's got a ton of goals for anybody, but especially for an old guy. But Vladar, that is the big question. And that's what Sam Ersson had, when he took over the reins from Hart a couple years ago. Ersson was like, well, can he handle the rest of the season as the starter? The answer was no. And then he's gotten chances since then. The answer has been no each time, which sucks because we want it to be yes, but it has been a no. And Vladar, it's like, once he gets that second half of the season, is he going to be able to handle this? I'm hoping the answer is yes, but it's really a huge unknown.
It is. This is, I think we're going to start getting into, especially with the very condensed December schedule, the road trip, obviously, after they have a 6-game homestand, and then I think they have like 11 of 12 or something like that on the road. It's going to be a crazy road schedule after playing so many home games the first month and a half of this season. We're finally going to get into the road games, but this is the first of that 6-game homestand to start the month, and it'll be Vladar. And I'm encouraged by, despite the record, really, really good numbers in 4 games against the Penguins, as you put here, Steve. 1-2-1 with a 921 and a goals against under 275. So he has been good against the Penguins, and he's going to need to keep that up, that 920 save percentage, because, man, I really don't want to lose to this team.
No, it's always like there are 3 teams I always desperately want to beat. It is the Penguins, the Devils, and the Rangers. And the Rangers, as we've mentioned before, is mainly just because their fans are so insufferable. And I mean, I think this applies to all 3 fan bases here. It certainly does with the Penguins. And they're just the team that has been haunting us for like 20 years at this point, however long Sidney Crosby's career has been, as he enters he's 38 years old. And this dude has 16 goals. Like, I triple checked those numbers.
Yeah. The leader in the league has 20. It's Nathan McKinnon and Morgan Geekie have 20. Kirill Kaprizov has 17. And then there's like 5 guys tied with 16. The nearly 40-year-old Sidney Crosby is one of them. It's insane how long this guy has been one of the best players in the league.
He's even like a movie monster, Bill. He just will not go away.
Even at this point now where he's not that guy anymore, best player in the league, but it's still, well, he's 3rd in the league in goals, like, what can you do? I want to take a look at, so it'll be Dan Vladar starting tonight, his 16th start of the season. He has been really good for the Flyers thus far, and now we see how far can he take this thing. Let's take a look at the team in front of him. At least this is how they lined up in morning skate today, according to our own Charlie O'Connor. We have Dvorak, Zegras, Tippett. That line has been really good lately. Couturier, Michkov, Brink stays together. Cates, Forster, Konechny stays together. And then it appears, at least for now, as if Grebenkin, Abels, and Hathaway will be your 4th line again. After the last couple of nights in which Forster, Cates, Konechny, they've produced some points, they've produced some goals, but they have been basically on defense for every shift they've been out there together. Are you a little surprised we don't see the reunification of Forster, Cates, Brink, and you see Konechny back with Couturier and Michkov?
I'm surprised insofar as like the eye test and what the fancy stats have said about those numbers, but I'm not surprised as far as a superstitious coach goes, right? And when something's working, you gotta keep it going. And what's it now? A 3-game winning streak for the Flyers, which, I mean, I don't see any reason why Rick Tocchet would want to break that up. So while I do think that you should shuffle the lines a little bit, you can't argue with the results.
You absolutely can't. And something else you can't argue with, saving money on Black Friday, Steve. We are now into the Cyber Monday portion of Black Friday, capitalism holidays here. And there are so many deals going on at PHLY and across ALLCITY. But our big one right now, just for today, you get 67% off a Die Hard membership. It comes out to like $26 for the entire year of your Die Hard membership. It is the only way to read all of Philly's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor's pieces, not to mention the rest of our all-star cast of writers, columns, and articles. And of course, you get a free t-shirt and merchandise discounts, event discounts, access to the Discord, so many reasons to be a diehard. And right now, $26 for the year, that is our lowest price ever. You're going to want to get in on that. And when your free shirt, it can be, listen, any number of the things we've been advertising, or even one of our newest pieces, the Philly Hockey Club shirt. I've got it on today, right now.
It's a beaut, Clark.
Yeah. If you're already a diehard, you can get it at a discount, or you can just go get the Black Friday sale. You can take advantage of that still going on at allphly.com. Just hit that merch tab. All right, Steve, let's take a look at the defense. York Sanheim, Andre Drysdale, Sealer, Juleson. So it'll be Juleson coming back in, it appears, for now, for Yegor Zamula. We liked what we saw out of Zamula his first game back, absolutely. It's been a little tail off since then, and after that ridiculous turnover, we're gonna see Noah Juleson back in there with Nick Sealer tonight.
It was a really bad turnover, but Julesen's just so slow out there, man. When he gets burnt bad, but I don't know. He also hasn't been as bad as I expected based on the
No,
preseason.
certainly not.
He's had a couple games where he's had moments where he's got burnt pretty bad, but overall, all right. I can't complain too much because it's not like Yegor Samula is that much of an upgrade. He gives you a little punch of offense sometime, and he's certainly more mobile. But man, he makes some bonehead mistakes out there.
And I just like the idea that Rick Tocchet is going to keep this a competition. He's going to keep cycling guys in and out. We see Sealer Juleson, that is maybe not like an ideal pairing. They're both similar in that they're, kind of physical guys. When Nick Sealer is the more puck skilled of the two defensemen who are on the ice, that's usually not ideal. But maybe this is more of a clog the middle, beat him up down low sort of game, and that's what he's going to be looking for from that pair. And as long as Andre and Drysdale keep performing as a pair, you're gonna have to kind of deal with whatever you get out of your third until Rasmus Ristolainen comes back.
Yeah, that's the truth. And I'll take it just because what Andre gives you as far as being an offensive defenseman is something that nobody else in this lineup is giving you right now. He's just got a dynamic aspect to his game where he can jump on the rush. He can push that puck into the offensive zone in a way that nobody else on this roster can even do. Not even Cam York or Jamie Drysdale, who are guys that have pretty good offensive defenseman pedigrees. Sanheim maybe sometimes, but Sanheim's also playing 25 minutes a night. So Andre playing like 20 or less a night, like to be able to jump in like he can and give that team a shot in the arm is totally worth it. And what are these guys getting, like maybe 12 minutes on the third pairing, if that, as long as the guys in the top four can handle it, I'm cool with it.
You figure out ways to get them out there. Sometimes you mix in Sanheim or York with one of them. We saw the first period of the game a couple of nights ago where Andre had made some mistakes, wasn't looking great, and suddenly they were kind of going with five defensemen. And it was like, oh, have they kind of mixed up the pairs? And it was, no, it's just Drysdale getting shifts with Andre and Sealer, and now mostly Sealer at the end of the first because Andre's mini-benched. But then in the second period, Andre gets a second chance and comes out and shows you why you take the risks he takes. He has that goal and the assist in those second period, and he's been good since. So that pair will continue to stay together. We'll see what they do with it when Rasmus Ristolainen does come back. But until then, it doesn't really make a ton of sense to break them up because they're playing very well.
No, and I like that from Tocchet, the like kind of mini bench. I'll take that over John Tortorella being spiteful for weeks at a time or whatever the heck was going on.
Might as well untie your skates, kid. You're sitting next to me.
Yeah, go get changed. Just go into the press box. Just go watch the game from up high.
Some popcorn.
Yeah, get yourself some popcorn, a flyer shaped pretzel. Just enjoy yourself. But yeah, I overall I just like what Andre brings. Oh, and I'm willing to put up with that risk just to have him in the lineup.
All right, let's take a look at Matvei Michkov, Steve. We all know the up and down start to the year he's had, from the came into camp out of shape conversation to the he's just not playing all that well, the droughts without goals and points. But now here we are. He's got 4 goals and 1 assist in his last 5 games. 2 goals in that last game after being credited with the one originally credited to Travis Konechny. He's up to 14 points in 24 games, 8 goals, 6 assists. That is a 48-point pace, which is a dramatic drop-off from last year, but picking it up, and you got to believe he's going to start producing it closer to a point-a-game pace from here on out than he has been, because I think that last game might have been one of his best of the season.
Yeah, I agree. He was making good defensive plays, which is something we did not have on our bingo card for that game. And I love it. I think he's learning some lessons right now. I think this was a tough adjustment for him, his first big NHL offseason, only 20 years old. You make some dumb decisions when you're 20 years old. That's just going to happen. And also learning a new system, learning a new coach and how that coach is. It's, just a big change for him as a young player. And he's also coming from the KHL to the NHL, which is a huge change in and of itself. I do like that the goal scoring specifically has picked up. That's now a 27-ish pace, which is nice, which surpasses last year. I would love if it picks up more and if we can get 2-3 guys at 30 plus, I'll be real happy because Zegras and Forster right now, who lead the team in goals with 9, are both at 30 plus paces, which is fantastic. But all of a sudden, we've had all this hand wringing about Matvei Michkov, but the guy's, almost the team leader in goals all of a sudden. And
it's really tremendous after everything. It's like, yeah, in a big game tonight, he will be leading the Philadelphia Flyers in goals. Like that's all it's going to take.
And
a
he's
normal
hot.
2-goal game, which he did a ton of times last year.
And he's hot right now. I mean, that goal, his first goal, because I forgot he had 2 goals because they took away one from Travis Konechny, which upon replay makes sense because he did tip it. But, that first goal was solely because Matvei Michkov was really mad about getting a BS penalty called on him.
Yeah.
And he breaks out of the box in expert fashion. I think TK gave him the feed on that one. And he gets that breakaway and he pretty much just wills that puck into the net. That no fancy move there. And that's one of the things you forget about Michkov a lot because he has great hockey sense and he could score a highlight reel goal. But a lot of his goals are real sloppy, just slopping them up.
Slopping him up, man. Just pouring the water all over the steak.
Exactly.
But he's got such good deception. He changes his release point. He just waits an extra tick or does it a little earlier than you think. Like you always think of when he first came over, oh, he's got a big bag of tricks. He must have, he's a Russian superstar. He must have all these really Zegras-like moves. And not that he can't do that stuff, but so much of it is just having a nose for the net and knowing exactly how to beat the goalie. And we've seen that a lot lately. And we saw Jordan Hall actually tweet this morning. If you were wondering, because that off season, it puts a little question in your mind. What kind of work is the guy doing? Is it really so much that, he just wants to be the best so bad that he puts in all this extra work? And you go, really? Because it sounds like he kind of took the summer off. Well, we see Jordan Hall tweet today that he was out on the ice doing a little extra net front work with one of the Flyers assistants this morning. First player on the ice at morning skate. So it's just good to see he's getting in a little extra work. And listen, we've been talking about this team needing a net front presence. He has a deflection goal in just the last game. He's got a couple of those recently. Maybe that's going to be part of a new role for him, especially on the power play. We'll probably talk about the power play units in post game because they got mixed up a little bit today, and they're interesting. For instance, one of the units doesn't have a center, so we'll talk about that probably in post game tonight. But right now, I got to tell you about Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. In each of the last 2 Flyers hockey games that if you had taken them on the money line or made them part of your parlay, you would have not had to wait 60 minutes to get your payout. Why is that? It's because of the Bet365 early payout offer where you're a winner if your team gains a 3-goal lead. So whether if they blow it or almost blow it, no matter the ending result, you get it right away with the early payout offer. It's that easy. And we have breaking news from Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. All you got to do is sign up, use code PHLY365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, whether your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and physically located in PA. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And now it's time to tell you about Xfinity because Xfinity is the ultimate sports destination. There's no other way to get all the best games and all your favorite teams all in one place. No switching between 20 different apps, no lagging, no buffering, just the absolute best picture and sound with Xfinity 4K. It's so clear. It's like you're at the arena. It's really next level the way you watch with Xfinity because you get that enhanced 4K. You can have the multi-view. Watch up to 4 games at once with the multi-view through Xfinity. And you can get live stats and notifications right on your TV as the game is going so you can keep up with all of your parlays and all of your fantasy teams. So next game day, make sure you're a big fan and not a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box. All right, Steve. Now let us take a look at these Metropolitan Division standings. Right now, the Flyers are by total points, and that's how the NHL sorts it, because the NHL is a very simplistic league. The Flyers are 1 point out of third in the division behind the Caps. But if you look at the points percentages, the Capitals 32 points in 26 games. The Flyers 1 fewer point, but in 2 fewer games played. They are at a .646 points percentage. They are technically in third in the division right now, holding down that spot. If the season ended today, they would have a first-round matchup against those Devils, who they have beaten twice already. I am excited about where this thing could be going. Now, you look at the whole division, like the Blue Jackets are, I guess technically the Rangers are in last place with a .519 points percentage, but the Blue Jackets at 27, like not a ton separates this division. First place has 34, last place has 27, but it is it's tight, but the Flyers are right in it. In fact, they are ahead of most teams.
It's wild to think about. It's also funny to see Washington like in the mix after they just were so dominant in the division last year, which not a total surprise. I thought they were a big fluke last year, and the playoffs will kind of prove this all right on that front. But yeah, I mean, the Flyers look like they're an actual team that it could contend for a playoff spot, which we said in preseason. I think a lot of people didn't believe us in Philadelphia when we were saying I could see this team eking into the playoffs, or I could see this team being fourth worst again. But I think we saw the potential. We saw a lot of, because again, it's only a couple years ago that the Flyers barely missed the playoffs and really should not have missed the playoffs. They lost to some lousy teams down the stretch. I'm blaming a lot of that on John Tortorella for wearing them out. But yeah, I mean, this team has a lot of great pieces. The fact that Trevor Zegras has just been as great as he is so far is a big part of it. Is that a point per game pace right now, right?
Yes, he is. I believe at 24 in 24, I believe is what he's at.
Beautiful. You love to see it. And just Zegras being for real. I think Christian Dvorak has been a home run of a free agent signing right now. And you're doing this without Michkov playing like he did last year is a big thing. And we've said, if they get a goaltender, this really could be a pretty good team. And they got the goaltender. You know, we talked a lot about Vladar at the top of the show, and I will not stop singing his praises because he really has just been such a steady, constant presence back there that you can rely upon.
I think that's really what has me excited, is the fact that maybe now, just now, they're starting to really grasp a lot of Rick Tockett's concepts, and they're not just getting, 18 shots a game anymore. They're not just defending the entire game. Like, all right, yeah, they won 3-2, but like they were on defense for 2/3 of the game. That's not quite the case anymore. And with TK and Michkov maybe coming around, even if Vladar levels out a little bit, where he's more of a 905 than a 915 goalie, that'll be okay because they're getting a little bit more offense. So I'm excited about this team playing well and definitely having way more room to grow. And something else that's really helping their playoff chances, Steve, we'll see if they can continue this trend tonight, but they've been great against division opponents. They are 5-0-1 against the Metro. They have won 5 straight, and their only loss was on the road in Carolina to start the second game of the season. And if you remember, they lost in overtime, even though they scored in overtime. It was overturned. Sure, that's hockey. That kind of thing happens. But 5-0-1, and you have a claim to 6-0 almost. You've done really well against the division. When you beat the teams you're in direct competition with, you have a really good chance to make the playoffs.
And that's one of the things that's killed them the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Specifically look at that year where they should have made the playoffs. Just a couple wins against the Capitals, and you're in that playoff spot easy. And who knows how your fate gets changed from there, right? Like making the playoffs does a lot for a team's confidence. It does a lot for the team in general. So not making the playoffs that year really, I think, crushed a lot of these guys. You know that they want to get back there too. You know Travis Konechny is mad as hell about this. Sean Couturier was on this team when they were making it every other year. You know,
Yeah.
at least at the beginning of his career, they were making it every year. And then it was like every other year they were making it. But every other year is at least making it. It's been a while right now. It has been, what, 5 years since they made the playoffs at this point?
And that was, the fake
bubble.
playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, they were really good and deserved to be there, but it wasn't the Stanley Cup playoffs the way we know the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like, it's the most intense environment in the world. Well, there's no one in the stands. There's no traveling. You play in the same building every single night.
I think I was actually in the building the last time they were in the playoffs at home.
It was 2018 against the Penguins.
Yeah, I was there. I was there for light up bracelet number 2, which was a little less ugly than number 1, but pretty ugly overall. So not a great memory of a playoff game to leave off on. So these guys want to make it. And I think they've gotten a taste of it. I think that Ducks game was so important for them last year, where they got to see just what Philly can be like in a playoff environment. Because a lot of the games, like, don't get me wrong, the people that show up, the season ticket holders, are fantastic. They support the team, but it's not like it was.
You're just showing up every night to support this freaking team.
I know. But the thing is, like, this used to be a sellout every night. This used to be one of the loudest buildings in the NHL. And I think these guys seeing that this still can be a loud building and a great environment, it gives them something to aspire to and something to play toward. So I think they all want to be there. And, you're also looking at guys like Owen Tippett. I know he's been inconsistent, but he still, I think, has stepped it up this year. He's on a 58-point pace right now, which would break his previous high of 53 in 23-24. So guys like Tippett, guys like Konechny, and I know Konechny's not at the best year, but Konechny is a good hockey player who wants to get back there. Same thing with Sean Couturier. These guys want to be there. Matvei Michkov wants this. Trevor Zegras seems to love playing in the Northeast, on the East Coast, having seasons again. And I think these guys just desperately want that feeling of Flyers playoff hockey.
All right, let's take a quick look at the Penguins before we get to bets, Steve. It's going to be, it looks like, Tristan Jarry in net for the Pens. 7-2-0 with a 9.05 and a 2.74. He has been pretty good for them this year, to the point where sounds like Edmonton has been calling, like, hey, you want Stu Skinner? We'll take Tristan Jarry. And the Penguins are like, yeah, we really want out of this Jarry contract. This is his first good year in a while. So let's see if we can make that happen. But really, what has been the story for the Pens is they are also very much in this playoff mix, especially after their hot start. It's their vets. Their vets look a lot more like the guys they're getting paid to be, specifically Malkin and Carlson, than they have the last couple of years. We talked about Crosby, 27 points in 24 games, ho-hum, 16 goals, just ridiculous. But you look, and we all know with the kind of damage he's done against the Flyers over the years, he kills us. That's no shock.
Ugh.
You look specifically at Erik Karlsson, and he's called out Mike Sullivan a little, like, subtly, like, yeah, man, I don't know. Dan Muse just asks us to do what we're good at instead of, like, telling me to play defense and stuff. Like,
God forbid the defenseman play defense.
Fair enough. Erik Karlsson, 15 points. He's got a goal and 14 assists in 24 games. So he's looking a lot more like himself lately. Your question is Kevin Hayes on their top line. It's Hayes, Crosby, Rust, and it's just very funny the way this team has been put together.
It's such a bizarre team. I actually forgot that Hayes was on this team until I looked at the daily faceoff lines today. So I can't believe he's on the team. Brian Rust, who I don't understand how. I mean, he's got the classic Penguins winger thing.
Mark Donk, man.
Mark Donk. He is the Mark Donk of this team. 18 points in 22 games played, but he's been an effective player for them. He definitely finds a way to score his goals. And Malkin getting 24 and 24, being point per game player, also pretty old. Man, I hate to see it. These guys are just always tough, and it's always on the back of their bets.
It's true. All right, and that'll bring us to the pregame picks. Here are our Bet365 pregame picks. All you got to do is sign up, use code PHLY365, and deposit $10 at Bet365 to place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, whether your initial bet wins or loses. Must be 21 plus an NPA. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Couple of bets for the fam tonight. We are sticking with Dan Vladar over 22.5 saves. He's averaged 25 saves a game. He made 24 against the Penguins in their last matchup at the end of October.
That was actually Sam Harrison who did that, but the Penguins got their shots.
Yes, yeah, they did get their shots. He's averaged 25 saves a game, over 22.5. He's cleared that the last few. And at even money, I am absolutely willing to take even money on this. And then, of course, Bobby Brink over 0.5 point. His last matchup with this team, he had a goal and an assist. He had the shootout goal as well. He's got 1 goal and no assists in his last 11 after having 9 points in the first 13 games. He's really due. As of at least morning skate, he will be out there with Michkov and Couturier, who have both been playing pretty well lately. I think Bobby Brink's got to get it going. He played well against the Penguins last time. I'm looking for him to do it again, Steve.
I love both of these. Vladar with the I can't believe they're even giving you 22.5. Like, that's ridiculous. And yeah, I think Brink is definitely due. And I think he's one of those guys who's had a solid season, but he's not nearly as hot as he started the season.
He's got to get it going a little offensively.
Let's go, my guy. You can do it. We believe in you.
All right, and that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers Pregame presented by Bet365. Make sure you're checking out all our Black Friday deals. You got to check out the merch store, at least 30% off everything, up to 90% on clearance items. And right now, you can become a diehard for $26 for the year, our best deal of all time on diehard memberships. You get all the perks, a free shirt, discount on merch and events, access to the Discord, all of Charlie and all of our writers' awesome pieces, every single thing available on allphly.com. Go check it out. All right, that'll do it for us. Make sure you tune in right here in the YouTube right after the game as we go live with postgame. Until then, I am Bill Matz. That is Steve Jaco. Thank you to Brenna. Let's go Flyers.